Yo, Willy's World Podcast, dopest dope you're ever gonna smoke. Today, we're doing our first live cast. Well, not live cast, but COVID's kind of calmed down a little bit in Queensland, and we're sitting today with the ecom mastermind, the one and only Pele Vuitton, the homie. We've been partying a lot lately, and the sidekick, Wian.
The sidekick.
Hello, my friends.
Hello,
How
how
are you
you?
today?
How are
Welcome to my podcast. Thank you, and please do not come again. So, Pele, how you going, mate?
Yo, what's going on, guys? How
Happy
are
New
we all?
Year.
Happy New Year, guys.
How's your 2021 going?
Fuck yeah, we started the right way, didn't we? You were there, mate.
I was there, but I was there in physical form. In mental form, I don't really remember being there, but I'm sure a whole bunch of shit happened. It was a pretty crazy evening. I didn't jump off the back of the boat this time, which was probably a good thing. Last year I did that. That was much to the eventful, pain of the boat captain. He got pretty mad about that. Apparently, it's not a good idea to jump into a shipping lane off a 3-story roof. But, whatever. Had that never stopped me before. And it probably won't stop me in the future. So Pele, give us the goss, man. How's life in Brisbane? And give us a little feedback on, your history and how you got into ecom.
Yeah, awesome, man. Thanks again for having me on, obviously. But yeah, basically, guys, Brisbane is a vibe. You know what we're doing. Basically, like I got into ecom about 3 years ago, and pretty much since then, obviously, been living the good life. So that ecom life. But that's pretty much that, Willy. So you know how we party.
So we know how you party, but I'm interested in how you got here. So tell us a little bit about your roots. Where did you grow up, and what were you doing before this? How old are you? And just give us a little bit of the kind of the rundown of like how you kind of came to this point where you helping people make money.
Yeah, for sure, man. So I'm from the UK, guys, and pretty much I moved to Australia maybe about 9 years ago. And when I got here, I was pretty much fresh out of school, guys. So literally had no idea what I wanted to do in my life. Literally, like most of us, we finished school, and from then on, it's just a game of experimentation unless you've got a mentor, right? So for years and years, I pretty much just did working jobs, you know what I mean? My first ever job was in a Chinese restaurant. And
in Brisbane?
No, that was in Harvey Bay, my man. So moved straight to Harvey Bay. Grandparents are there. And literally just slugged it out for the first 6 years of being in Australia. Until the day I decided that I wanted a little bit more from life. So I decided to move to Brisbane from Harvey Bay on my own. Literally had about $500 to my name. And pretty much just did like the flat share thing, you know what I mean? But it was about 4 years ago that I wanted to get into ecom. So 2017, beginning of 2017, I managed to score a job at a real estate agent. And from then on, I was pretty much just doing cold calling, guys. So any of you that have done cold calling before, you know what a shit gig it is. You know what I mean? So from that point
I've
on,
definitely had a few shit gigs in my life. So I never did cold calling though. I set the limit at washing dishes and tree lopping.
Oh, I love it. Well, fuck, I've done door knocking as well, like all kinds of sales gigs, selling charity. Kirby's. I'm not sure if you heard of the Kirby, Willy.
What's the Kirby? Give us the 411 on the Kirby.
The Kirby vacuum cleaner. So they're pretty revolutionary.
So sell me. We want to hear some of this. The original, like kind of the original steers.
Yeah, you know what? I can't sell you because it's not a product I truly believe in. You know what I mean? Like it's a $4,000 vacuum cleaner.
That's a good salesman right there.
Exactly. Like I don't believe in the product, and that's why I was pretty shit at that Kirby job. So you know what I mean? I lasted there for about 6 months, but I trained some people and. But yeah, pretty much got to Brisbane. I did real estate. It was my first ever proper job. And through that, like I was doing cold calling and set up an agency. So I hired about 12 people at LJ Hooker Paddington. And really got my, really found my ground within the sales industry. You know what I mean? But I always knew that I never wanted to work for money. Like a lot of us, I'm sure that you've all, you know what I mean? You want to own your own business. You want to do something that doesn't take your time to actually earn that money, because I was literally earning pennies there, you know what I mean? Like $800 a week, and for that doesn't really pay for your life, does it? So
no, not when you got to pay rent. And I grew up in Sydney. It's a lot more expensive than living up here. It's pretty pretty cheap, really, to live up here compared to living in Sydney.
Yeah, crazy, bro. I can't imagine like having to pay like $1,500 a week rent. Like you know what I mean? I would have moved back to Harvey Bay, but
Well, $1,500 will get you a pretty good crib anywhere in the world, but you know,
fair enough. Yeah,
500. Excuse me, $500 for like a 1-bedroom studio in the back of Shitville, fucking western suburbs. Not that I ever lived like that, but I have a lot of friends that had to do shit like that.
Yeah, man, I can imagine. But yeah, Brisbane's a good life. I must add, I do love it here, guys. Like I'm in between Brisbane and Gold Coast all the time. But real estate, for those of you that know, when you start at the bottom, you're pretty much the office bitch, and that's pretty much how it goes. You know what I mean?
Shit kicking. Get me a coffee.
You're shit
Hurry
kicking,
up.
and you're seeing everyone else.
I ordered a mocha laka latte, not a mochaccino. It was a mocha laka latte.
That's shit. But you're earning next to nothing, and you see the big guys that you're actually setting up deals for, and they're earning good cash. You know what I mean? Like, obviously selling houses, but there's a lot to it. And let's face it, no one's really going to respect a young guy coming into the industry that has no experience and no sales history. So, like, at the end of the day, it's a little bit of a struggle. But in the beginning of 2017, I decided, I was like, look, I want to make a business. So my first ever business I created was fixing iPhone screens.
That's a good business.
It was pretty good.
They tend to smash.
It got me good. It got me going good. You know what I mean? Like I was doing like an odd job after work every day, and like earning pretty much the same amount that I'd make from my job.
And were you fixing the iPhones yourself?
Yeah, I'd fix them myself. Learn from YouTube. So
that's good. That's good hustle. That's a lesson for kids. You know, the Encyclopedia Britannica and basically the Library of Alexandria is basically on the internet these days. So if you really
100%.
want to learn something, if you put your brain to it, you can learn pretty much any skill for probably no money other than the internet connection.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And you're probably a testament to that.
Everything I've learned so far has been from Google, YouTube. When you have a question, don't even bother asking people. You know what I mean? Just type it into your phone, guys. I'm going to give you the best answers because you've literally got the smartest people in the world with access. You got access to them. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I fix iPhones. It was a pretty good gig, but at the same time, I didn't really know what I was doing. You know what I mean? Like I fixed the phones, and but as for the business aspect and getting leads and stuff like that, it's pretty much just getting them from Facebook, and it's still working for money, right? So, yeah, like I started looking into e-commerce. Like I Googled what is making the most millionaires of 2017, and yeah, it was e-commerce, Amazon, and I just didn't like the business model of Amazon. So, like I started looking into e-commerce, and it took me like 11 months to crack, guys. Literally 11 months of making no money at all, working 50 hours a week in a real estate office, and earning no money from it until one day. Literally, like it's all it takes.
You just
like,
snapped.
It's like a cake, Willy. You know what I mean? Like you can put in 99% of the ingredients, but you're gonna get a shit cake at the end. And once you perfect that system, once you put the fucking icing on, you know what I mean, and you perfect that recipe, then literally shit just starts to take off.
It's like picking up girls. Once you close your first 10, after all those years of trying, unless you look like Barbie doll, like a pretty boy. You're a good looking dude though. You probably did all right from the get go. But once you crack that first supermodel, that other pussy don't taste the same.
Fuck you. You're a funny guy.
Yeah, and that's probably...
That's why we're here. We're here to go have a conversation.
I'm tied down now, my man. I have been for a
while.
while.
I like your girlfriend. She's a cool chick. Shout out to Nina.
She's a boss.
She is a boss.
Erin.
Oh, is it? I thought it was
It's Erin, yeah.
Oh, Erin. Sorry. My bad.
She's listening now.
She's probably not listening.
She'll get you on Oz.
Hi, Erin. I'll send you a Christmas card in 10 months and you'll forgive me, hopefully.
But she's now a boss now. So
So give us the rundown. So you continued on to that. You got into e-com after real estate. How long were you doing both jobs? You had the normal job and then you had the side hustle. How long did that continue for?
Yeah, so 11 months of grinding it out, guys, trying to figure out what the go is with e-commerce. But as I said, that day I got my first break. We went from earning like $100 a day to $1,100 that first day. The next day, $2.5K. The next day after that, another $2.5K. The Monday, I called my boss, quit my job.
And what was it? What was the crux? What was it that changed? Was it like some kind of like the way that you looked at the algorithms, or was it just a product that just started to catch attention after you thrown shit at the wall and finally something stuck, or what was it that actually that clicked for you?
It was more so like the attention to your customers. So one thing I've always specialized in is giving like a personalized service, and that's pretty much why I took off in real estate. But I started putting my real estate scripts into e-commerce. So the copywriting side of things, guys, like, and obviously the sales terminology. And that's what really like gave me my break, was figuring out what it is that people actually want and then giving it to them. It's as simple as that. You walk into, what's a shitty shop? I don't really shop at them, but like, you know what I mean? Like, what's
I don't really shop at them.
What's a shitty clothing shop? Like, I can't think off the top of my head.
The
but
reject shop.
The reject shop. So you go in there, they sell clothes?
I don't know. Like, maybe, what are you going to call it? Maybe like a Supre, or like, I don't know. But most of them, yeah. Anyways, whatever the low end shop is, right?
Just a low end shop. You know what I mean? You walk in, you look
won't
around.
Name names.
The moment you walk in.
For legal reasons.
Righto, probably best. But you walk in and literally every single staff member just puts their head down. You know what I mean? You're not really going to get much of attention from them because they're all working for minimum wage. You know what I mean? But let's convert that to, let's say, Louis Vuitton. You walk in there and what do they do? First up, you get greeted.
Hello, madam.
You get greeted by someone that's really, exactly.
How's
so
your
someone
day
that's on top of their game. They understand like every product that's in the shop. You have any questions and they are there like within an instant just to answer that and obviously help you through the purchase. So that's pretty much what I started doing with ecom, is offering a personalized service to every single customer that walks through the door. You know what I mean? And from then on, like that was what gave me my break, guys, was the moment we started paying utmost attention and really helping the customers through every stage of the purchase system. You know what I mean? Like the sales funnel. Like sales just started to take off, and like the day I had my break, like, you know what I mean, I knew this was the one, and like I quit my job 3 days later, guys, and well, that was over 3 years ago.
At the time, what were you actually selling?
Yes, I've sold lots of things online, but I mainly specialize in clothing, and you know what I mean. So mainly clothing brands, because let's face it, like, you know what I mean. You buy like a tech item, let's say a microphone or something like that. You know what I mean? Like you're only ever going to come once you got your microphone. You don't really want another one, right? Because you've already got it. So with clothing, obviously, you can never have enough clothes. Like, you know what I mean? I'm sure you're the same as me, but like my wardrobe is just flooded full of shit. Like I hand me down to all the friends, but like, you know what I mean? So
well, the hardest part about my life was that for many years, obviously, I was a professional athlete, so I used to just get boxes and boxes of shit. So when I became a civilian, like probably 4 years ago, and I stopped getting boxes, then I had to start buying shit, which was kind of, made me feel like a pleb. But at the same time, like I understand, because I always had a fascination with shoes, and I never had a shoe sponsor. So the only thing I ever used to buy was shoes. And the only things that I'm obsessed with are sunglasses and shoes. So like I used to be on the Dragon International team, and I used to have like 30, 40 pairs of sunglasses, and I'd wear... sometimes in one day I'd wear 3 pairs of sunglasses just because I'm swagged.
Love it, bro. That's great.
Hell is why
you're a special case, though, Willy.
Future's so bright I got to wear shades. But yeah, but what kind of clothing? Women's clothing or
yeah, we've
men's
done
clothing?
both. But of course, women obviously love clothes a lot more than guys. And yeah, I mean, they're all about trends. So literally,
do you remember that Chris Rock line? Oh, I think it was Chris Rock. He said, "Women be shopping. Women be shopping."
Love it.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but continue.
No, you're good, bro. So yeah, like pretty much like women love clothes, and you know what I mean. They can never have enough of it, and most girls will only ever wear like a dress once. You know what I mean? So like they wear it for an occasion, and that's that. You know what I mean? They'll give it to another friend, and you know what I mean. They don't want to be seen twice in photos with the same dress. So
no, that's not good for business.
No, of course not. You know what I mean? We've all got reps to hold now. Now it's Instagram and Facebook and all these other social media platforms that all revolve around photos. So you know what I'm saying? That's what it's about.
And then so you've got the whole entourage. Wian, what up, dude? How are you?
How's it going, brother?
You South Africa representing.
Africa, let's go.
How did you meet your homie Pele over here?
So I probably know Pele probably longer than anyone.
Longer than most.
Yeah, longer than most. I met him when he worked at the real estate gig. So one of the guys that used to work for him was a friend of a friend. Shout out Reese.
How long you been here for?
I've been in Australia for 8 years.
Okay,
8,
so
9
just
years,
another year off over him.
Yeah. So I came after
So
school as well.
you guys aren't quite. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Cool. But
Yeah,
you came
so-
by. You didn't come with your family though. You came by yourself.
Yeah, kind of like some family is still here, but
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I went straight to like a college, like dormitory, and started studying here. And yeah, so I think I met Pele like probably 2016, 2017.
I remember the moment I walked in to Reese's house. Like Reese was, I hired Reese, a friend of mine from a previous job. I hired him in real estate, but VM was at his house.
Was he taking a photo of his tailpipe of his car?
No, he was there because Reese had really fast internet.
Oh, it's really. That's good, man. Hey,
And VM's
a hard-
downloading courses of Ty Lopez. You know what I mean? And pretty much we bonded over that. Like,
plead
just,
the fifth.
you know what I mean? We're both in the learning stages before I'd done
that's
anything in e-com.
but that's the hustle. That's how you group together, and that's how you find a camaraderie between a group, and then you guys grow together, and it's very there's many. I listened to a podcast the other day of Errol Etola, who's a very famous pro snowboarder, and Laurie Heskari, and there were a group of snowboarders that grew up together, and 8 out of 10 of them all went pro because they all grew up night riding every single day and pushing each other. They'd learn every single trick, switch, frontside, backside, switch backside, and all of them ended up becoming super international big pros because they held each other accountable. And obviously ecom's a little bit different than snowboarding in Finland in the fucking -30, but it's the same kind of mindset. And if you find like-minded members of a tribe, and as Brandon Beeble said in a previous podcast that I did, he said, your vibe attracts your tribe. And that's a testament to that, right? You guys are hanging out together and you've freed up your life and now you live in the nomadic life off your laptop.
Well, your network is your net worth, my friend, and e-commerce, it's pretty much a game of batting off each other. You know what I mean? Like you create something that works, and you let your crew in, and we can all make money together. It's no fun at the top on your own. You know what I mean? So yeah,
I definitely agree with that.
That's pretty much what it's about, man. Like, and obviously now, like,
It ain't fun if the homies can't get some.
yeah, 100%. Like you.
Hey,
you know what I mean? You
don't get
wanna
any
be out, like,
ideas.
the only person with
I
money.
know my
You want
girlfriend's
everyone to have
outside, but come on. I don't know if she's down with that.
it. Love it, bro.
Maybe we can ask later.
Yeah, so no, we met 2016, 2017,
Yeah.
and then we became really good friends, and then Reese sort of drifted away. He was just doing something else, but we used to hang out quite a lot. I used to come to your place when you had the share house with everyone, and then I remember when you got what was it, the Audi?
Yeah, the first Audi A4.
The
Is
Audi
a
A4, shout out Audi.
2008 model.
Yeah, hey
Yeah,
man, you're balling on a budget, man. It's good to be
That's
as long as
exactly
you're
right.
balling, dude. It doesn't matter. Like you know those cars, they go hard, and you can thrash that car. That's fun.
It's nothing on the BMW, but
Totally.
Yeah.
So how did you? So you started to get your foot in the door. You're progressing. You're starting to let's talk some cheddar biscuits. How much were you clearing it a week after you quit? You quit real estate.
yeah, so pretty much for about that first month. So it was the 21st of November 2017. That's the day I had my
Yeah.
break. That was a Friday, and we did $1,100 that day. The next day, 2.5. The next day, 2.5 again, and pretty much I sat there for about 3 months. It's only about 2.5K a day. Some days
Turnover
3
though,
day.
right?
Yeah, that's in revenue. But the strategy we're using doesn't revolve around Facebook ads. It's not a traditional method. I pretty much come up with it. You know what I mean? Like it was an adaptation of what I was doing in real estate with scripts and personalized service. You know what I mean? So pretty much like, you know what I mean? I did that for 4 months.
Jordan
like that.
Belford way without the rip-off.
Pretty much, my man. And like it's all about offering value to your customers. So the more value I could offer them, the better. Like the more conversions we get, the better leads. You know what I mean? And pretty much we created a movement as opposed to just like a once-off shop. So like the difference being is that with a movement, like people become so passionate about your brand, and then you know what I mean. Instead of like you having to work for your sales are working to get you more sales, and pretty much it's like a snowball effect from them onwards. But the day I automated, that was another big day.
It's all steps in. It's all pieces in the wall.
100%.
Stacking.
It's all a learning curve.
All
you know what I mean?
interaction.
So
You meet people. You learn what not to do, what to do. This guy does this, and you're like, cool, yeah, blah blah blah, talking some shit. You learn, you like take that piece of that little, kind of like Bruce Lee with Jeet Kune Do. Sorry. he basically was the forefather of MMA. He took the best of kung fu, best of karate, best of kickboxing, pieced it together, applied it to what worked the best in the situation that presented itself.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's great. So
be like water.
Flow like water.
But yeah, man, you put in the work, you stack your brain with knowledge. You know what I mean? That's what's really going to help in this world. And like a lot of people come to me today and they want your help, but they don't really have a clear plan on what it is they actually want. And as well as that, they're not willing to put in the work, if that makes sense. So that's where I feel like I come in. As like
how many hours a week were you working on? Like after you quit, obviously you were doing 50 hours a week on the hustle at real estate.
Love it.
Barney Gumble over here.
On the CCs.
Duff
Sugar free.
Sugar free. That was an accident.
That's
but
a free sponsor.
Not free sponsor.
We'll
yeah,
get paid next
CC.
time.
I actually like Fireball way more. So Fireball
goes down a tree.
Fireball do give me a lot of free shit, but they haven't officially sponsored the podcast yet. So shout out to Johnny, Fireball Australia. Send me some cases because you need to sponsor my podcast because I'm a sick cunt. But anyways, back to the conversation that we're having. So how many hours a week, obviously back in the day when you're doing real estate, you're probably doing 50 on the real job, maybe 20 to 30 on the hustle. Obviously, you got to kind of factor in that you can only do 5 hours a day. Really, we need sleep, right? So how many, as you transitioned into your own hustle, how many hours a week were you putting in, realistically?
Yeah, so like literally I replaced all the time that I was doing in real estate in e-com. So like I found the best times to obviously start the conversions were at like 6 a.m. So I was up at every day 6 a.m. I worked till lunchtime, like 12.
Yep.
Have a 3-hour break. Back
Smoking
on
bongs
3.
at the time, I'm sure as well.
No, I don't touch drugs.
No.
But
okay.
yeah,
well, I do. I love cannabis, the mother drug. So
I love it.
So tell me. But what goes into that? Do you have a very analytical mind naturally, or was that a skill that you learnt over time?
I think I have I have a sales mindset, and I like to understand people. You know what I mean? There's a lot of sales is psychology. So once you figure out what it is that people actually want, what makes them impulse buy, that's when you're really going to thrive in the e-commerce industry. Is like, this part of it is figuring out how to acquire customers, how to keep your customers happy, how to get them to promote for you, and obviously join the movement of your brand so that, you know what I mean, that they're obviously engaging their audience and putting it back into your brand. So like realistically, like I was, you know what I mean, working ridiculous hours, but March 2018, so every day up until March, from November 21st, every single day I didn't take a single day off, not even on Christmas, you know what I mean? Boxing Day, I'm there, like I was at a party, and I'm literally on my phone, like actioning all these sales, you know what I mean? And helping all these customers and doing this entire sales system myself just from my mobile.
There's no skipping the hard work.
No, not at all. Not at all, especially in the beginning, you know what I mean? But we're like basically in March, like I literally had like a last minute Sydney trip, and my guy, like he pretty much wanted me to go that day, and so I had an assistant at the time that was kind of helping me here in Australia, but that day I was like, okay, I'm having a week off. I'm going to Sydney. It was my first day off in like 4 months, you know what I mean? And pretty much like I decided I was going to automate the entire process and let my assistant take my role. So I had 2 hours to train her before I left. And yeah, like, and pretty much
when you're on the spot under pressure, you perform.
Well, the fact being, she was great.
And that's about life.
She's killing it.
And also right person, right, hiring the right staff is pretty difficult. And if you can do it, that's it. Is she still with you today? Or no?
No, so we went our separate ways, but I was paying her really, really good at the time. She now like does like some kind of e-commerce, you know what I mean? Some kind of like.
But you passed the torch on.
Yeah, I passed the torch on, and it freed up my time. But then we got into another stage of like outsourcing the work to other countries. So we do a lot of work in the Philippines.
Shout out to the Philippines. I get a lot of work done in the Philippines.
I was
Jason, my web developer, on that US wages.
Love it. Oh, you got Filipino employees?
Oh,
too?
yes, I got a few of those.
Yeah, they're great. Great people, really good.
No, they're good and they're cool. They're interesting people. They're very, they're very nice. Obviously, they're working on a little bit of a different work hour than we do. But yeah, automation international diplomacy through e-com is something that I greatly encourage.
No, that's awesome, man. But yeah, and the fact being, like, they don't live. Let's face it, the Philippines is like, you wouldn't really want to live there. It's very low paying.
Oh, come on, Thriller in Manila, mate. Come on.
It's alright if you got
$5
the money.
hookers. I'm down to move in Manila.
Shit,
I don't know about you.
Oh, crazy. But the fact being out there, like, if you're not like if you don't have perfect English speaking, like, you know what I mean, language, then like the best you're gonna get is a construction job or like in some kind of like manufacturing. You know what I mean? Like, it's all like warehouses and stuff like that. And out there, they're literally getting paid like cents. We're talking like 20 cents a pop. You know what I mean? Per hour.
So you're using like Fiverr and like Upwork and DeviantArt to find
not quite
people like that.
So I use virtual stuff, and that's based in the Philippines. And
also that's that's similar to Fiverr, but more specific to ecom, is it?
I've never actually used Fiverr.
It's more like Upwork, but it's just based.
Fiverr's fucking awesome. Fiverr for like voice production and like. You can find anything on Fiverr. Shout out to Fiverr. You want to sponsor my podcast? $2 million an episode.
Let's go.
But yeah, that kind of stuff. But you're obviously facilitating something. You're giving someone else an opportunity to live the similar lifestyle, while it might not be as extreme as what you have or I have, because our cup is probably a little bit more full than most because of geographical location and because of probably a little bit of white privilege living down under.
Yep.
You're facilitating something that they can live their lifestyle without having to be someone's bitch and work a 9 to 5.
Well, yeah, exactly that.
And like really, I've done that, and it's not very fun. I've had every shitty job you could ever imagine. Even though I've had a very, my parents have got money. I've had, I've been a professional athlete since I was probably 15, 16. But there were times in my life where I spent a lot of money and I needed extra cash. And at one point I had 3 jobs, and I was, on Centrelink and had 3 jobs, and I was clearing and selling weed, and I was clearing probably about $5,000 a week.
Cut that
in cash. No, I won't cut nothing. That's legit. And, but I hustled, and that situation in my life put me in the position where I needed to hustle. I got arrested in America. I got charged in Utah with like 2 grams of pot. I had like $10,000 bill, all this fucking shit. I lost some sponsors because I couldn't be in America the next year because I had to get drug tested for 4 months, yada, yada, yada. But then my parents always taught me to hustle. And when I was a little kid, when I was like probably like 10 years old, I started working at my parents' Mexican restaurants. And like my dad told me when I started skiing, he's like, I'll help you with travel, but I'm never going to buy a new pair of skis. He never bought me a new pair, or maybe once or twice he bought me a new pair of skis. But when I was a little kid, when I was like 13, 14, I was calling up the CEO of Quicksilver and the CEO of like Mambo and like all these companies, and I was making CVs, and I wasn't the best skier at that age. I got better, obviously, as I progressed, but I was like hustling. I was like, I need new skis. I need to be the pimp. I need to look at like the fly dude. I want to be sponsored by Dragon and Spy and, Oakley and all these companies. But that hustle that my dad, he set me up to succeed because he didn't give it to me on a silver spoon, even though they had the ability to do that, and they let me travel. I've lived in je parle très bien français. Je grandis en France. I speak Japanese. Like I've lived in Japan. I've lived in Canada. I've lived all over the world. But the thing that taught me hustle was that my dad used to own a massive car audio company. And he had probably $500,000 in show cars, and he drove a fucking old station wagon from the 80s because he doesn't give a fuck. And he taught me hustle. And whenever he needed to go wash dishes, and even now they own another big Mexican restaurant, he'll go wash dishes, even though he's 60 and he's fucking got millions of dollars. He'll still go wash dishes with the fucking dishy to help the dishy, because he's not above what the dishy does, because the dishy's part of the process. And if you never get above the process, then you're always gonna succeed.
You literally just told me before we started the podcast. You're like, I'm gonna go wash some dishes this week.
Tonight I'm going to work in the kitchen because one of the staff members is sick. But that's not the point. It's just that you need to learn. Like, that hustle is everything, and opportunity is necessity is the mother of all well, I sort of forgot that necessity is the mother of all invention. I think that's the word. But you know, struggle is the opportunity of hustle. So when you get in a position of like life where it fucks you, you can either go into the corner and bitch and cry and be like, oh my God, my life is over, you done me. Or you can go hustle and go get jacked and go fuck 5 other chicks. Or you can go get 3 other jobs and go hustle and save money and then go back to Europe and then live in a sauna and then go win a bunch of competitions and then get your sponsors back and make your money back. Do you know what I mean? Like so
100%, man.
So
That's
that
great.
hustle is very, very fucking important.
You got to feel struggle.
You got to feel struggle in order to, and it keeps you hungry. Even now, I enjoy physical labor because it makes me. I get mad about it because I'm like, I'm above this shit. It makes me angry, and then I go back to my like normal whatever I'm doing, and I'm like more motivated to do it because comfort breeds fucking laziness and just like.
You got to get your hands dirty. That's for sure.
You got to get you got to get gritty, you know. And this is the whole thing that people don't understand. Is that my old man? He's fucking rich from scratch, and he's done more shit than most motherfuckers will ever understand. But he's still not above going and getting into the fuck. He'll fix his cars, and he'll, you know, and even if he drive, you know, he's not going to rock a Rolex and because he's a big dick Viking fucking overlord. But it's not about the bling. It's about you know, like that. And you know, you guys are young and you're going to get caught up in all that bullshit, and that's fun and it's all good, but it's icing on the cake. The fucking layering of the cake is that hard work, the family fucking mentality, and that hustle. When life throws you shit, you got to fucking brew it all up, and you know, take those lemons, find someone with some, turn it into lemonade, and then find someone with vodka, and then have a party. Do you know what I mean?
And then sell tickets to the party. Don't forget that.
We're all very entitled here, you know what I mean? Australia.
We're
very
I'm
fortunate.
not saying I'm very fortunate. I've grown up. I've had a silver spoon in my life, probably a gold spoon, but my parents taught me to fucking hustle. And I've had every shitty job in the world you could. I've fucking put up posters. I've been a tree lopper. I've been a brickies labourer. I've worked for bikies doing fucking stupid fucking favors. I've done every shitty job you could ever imagine just to go skiing because I loved fucking skiing. That's all that made me fucking happy was getting pussy and skiing powder, and that's the only. And that was what drove me. Whatever it is that drives you, you got to find that passion to be able to get up in the morning at 5 a.m. and fucking hustle because everybody thinks, oh my God, they see these like, oh, I'm driving a Lambo and blah, and I got a nice watch, and they just like, oh, it's going to automate. It's not how it fucking works. You got to put in the work and take the fucking L's to be able to get the wins.
Take action, bro.
It is take action.
That's my brand. Take action. You know what I mean? Like if you want something, go out and fucking get it. It's as simple as that. You know what I mean? Sitting around at home, doing your same thing every single day, it's not going to get you anywhere because, you know what I mean? Like you doing the same thing every single day. What progress are you making, if that makes sense? Like you got to literally step outside of your comfort zone, do something you never thought you'd be able to do before. And that's what's going to put you ahead. Do you know what I mean? Think of your 10-year goals and think, how can I achieve that in 6 months or less? You know what I mean? And pretty much that's what's going to put you ahead in life, with relationships. You know what I mean? Just whatever you're after, whatever it really is. Some of us have no interest in being millionaires. You know what I mean?
Totally. But it's not even about that. It's about freedom of choosing what you want to do.
100%.
It's not about. It's about. You know, you can be a garbo, and if you enjoy being a garbage man and you love it, fucking kudos to the guy. I used to work with a dude who was one of the smartest people I've ever met. And I've met Harvard graduates, and I have friends that are billionaires, A-list movie stars. I have a very diverse clique of people that I've hung out with in my life, right? Rappers and all sorts of fucking random people. One of the smartest people I've ever met was a dude that I used to tree lot with. And he's like, I'm like, why didn't you go to uni and study ancient history and become a professor? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, I fucking like what I do. You know what I mean? He just enjoys what he does. So if you enjoy what you do, you're never going to work a day in your life.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? So,
I agree with
so
that.
the ability. So even, and you know, I have friends that are billionaires, and then I have friends that aren't. You know, they're paupers, but they might enjoy their life more than the billionaire. So it's not about the cash flow; it's about what you enjoy the process of. So you might enjoy ecom, but that's your path to the freedom to choose.
I don't think
what
anyone
you do.
really enjoys ecom.
Well, I don't know. I
You know
don't.
what I mean? But money is what.
But
it
depends
makes
what
the
you want.
world
If you
go
want
round,
money
know what
to
I mean?
have freedom,
Yeah.
but you don't necessarily have to make everything about money. In my opinion, again, your opinions are like assholes. Mine might be full of shit. Probably is. But money isn't going to solve the problems of the hole in the heart. That's why Seth Century has that song "Hole in the Bucket." You're always filling the fucking hole with other shit. You got to find what makes you happy. And
Yep.
but the thing about e-com is that it might present you with the freedom of half of your life now that you're not some slave to some fuckwit pushing pens or doing whatever the fuck it is that you're doing, bricky labourer or whatever. But that might give you the freedom to discover what you want to do. But again, at the same time as you guys are a bit younger than me, I'm telling you that money ain't gonna put the hole in the soul that everyone thinks it is.
Man, I know that.
The passion
I know
is
that.
what makes the world go round.
My argument is a bit different. My argument is if you don't care about money, go make a lot of money and help people.
Totally,
with that money.
100%. But you might get off on the process
Yeah,
of
yeah.
then helping people. So it doesn't matter what it is, but that's still a passion. So as much as you got to have money, you got to have the seesaw. You got to have the balance, and you got to have a little bit of this and a little bit of that. It's like I can have, I have a fucking very exotic life. I get to hang out with fucking some of the hottest chicks in the world. You can look through my Instagram, and I get to party with fucking. I get to live a really gnarly life. But then also I go and fucking dig holes and get yelled at by my fucking Viking father. But then that keeps me that keeps me sharp because he knows that he's a fucking pirate too. But the thing is that he keeps me sharp. And obviously doing other shit. That the yin to the yang balances out the seesaw.
And I think like
That's part about it being a man is using your hands and getting dirty and getting gritty and in my opinion, you're a pussy unless you do that kind of shit. You got to be able to flex some heat sometimes.
I've done my days of putting in the work and obviously getting your hands dirty. But I must say, like, the best life is knowing that you have to wake up and you have zero responsibilities because every single responsibility that you have has already been taken care of for you. I live a life of automation. That's what e-commerce has taught me. Yeah. Is that if I don't want to do something, I find someone else that can do it for me, if that makes sense. And
I like that idea. I do that as well.
So it got me through life. Like I don't do the things that I don't want to do purely because I've done them and I've experienced it. I don't like them. You know what I mean? Every single thing that you don't want to do and you do it, you've pretty much become a slave to that. You know what I mean? Because it's not something you really want to be doing. You know what I mean? There's a million things I'd rather do than wash dishes. For me, you know what I mean? I hate dishes, man.
Fuck, I hate it too.
And I get it, but you choose to do them still. I choose not to do them. You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? I'd rather hire a cleaner to come to my house.
100%.
Because I feel like my time is worth a little bit more.
Your time is definitely
than the
worth
dishes.
it. But you're choosing to do what you have to do. You wake up and you have the ability, you have the freedom. I don't need to go help my parents in a restaurant. I don't need to do that. I make heaps of money. I don't give a fuck. But I like that because it makes me hungry. I choose to do that. I don't need to do it, but I choose to do it because it makes me hungry. I like that process of being hungry. And when I'm just, hanging out doing the baller shit, which is fun, I turn into a fucking little bitch pussy like every other person I know on the Gold Coast. Become complacent, exactly. So I need that raw, that fucking warrior shit. And whether it's...
You need to become competitive. That's the goal competitive. In life, is to always be bettering yourself. You know what I mean? Wake up every single day and set yourself some goals. That's why I started this podcast. I'm like, do something that you never thought you'd be able to do. Because chances are, like, you might fail. You know what I mean? But say you try 99 things. After 100 days, you know what I mean? You're going to find one that actually works. And that's pretty much what life's about. You know what I mean? That one break can really set you off in life. And, my goal now is obviously to help as many people as I can to obviously achieve goals with e-commerce, if that makes sense. So, like, I've made lots and lots of money. I've made millions of dollars through e-com. But I must say, like you said, it didn't fill that hole, didn't fill that void in your heart.
So now you found the passion.
I found that, like...
Passion through the process.
Seeing other people succeed and, you know what I mean? Them being able to, like... All the worries that I just haven't had to deal with for years, you know what I mean? Like not being able to pay rent, seeing like a family member struggle. Like me personally, I look after my mum, you know what I mean? Like I helped her out of a shitty job last year just by money, you know what I mean? That's all it took.
Money
and
makes
I
the
was
world
like,
go
okay,
round.
cool, is that it? Like, you know what I mean? And now she's in a job that she really enjoys. And that for me was like, you know what I mean? That was a big thing. Like, obviously helping my mum out of a situation like that. And I'm sure that a lot of people listening are in that similar situation where there is someone that they want to help, but they just can't find a means, right? You know what I mean? There's like they just can't find their way to actually help
They're
that
stuck
person.
on the merry-go-round of the the day-to-day 9 to 5.
Well, the
hustle.
job, man, they're just over broke. That's what most people are living. They, you know what I mean? Like a lot of people I speak to that
called
want my help, they don't have any savings after the week. They pay their rent, they eat their food. You know what I mean? And after that, like there's nothing really left after the bills. And well, my question is, like, is that sustainable?
No,
it's not, right? So like,
you break your
you know
leg,
what I mean? You
you're
need.
fucked.
That's why you do that one thing that, like, you do that one thing that challenges you every single day. And after 100 days, surely you're going to find one. That's all you need, just one thing that's really going to make you break. And well, I get the most satisfaction out of obviously helping people now. Like I train people in e-commerce. I've got like 380 students to date. And like I only launched my course at the end of 2019. And I must say, like, majority of the students have come through since July 2020. So in the last like 6 months, I've had over 300 signups, and I've literally helped like hundreds of people to change their life. You know what I mean? Find that passion, find that inner drive. You know what I mean? And as well as that, it's not just like my course isn't just
drive
mindset.
to freedom, though. The ability to have the choice to do what you want to do.
This is a proven step-by-step blueprint. It's like you can consider it like an IKEA manual. You know what I mean? Like, fair enough, it's going to be hard. It's fair enough,
Anything worth doing is hard.
100% e-com is a very hard game because, let's face it, you set up a shop in the Gold Coast. Who are you competing with? The people in the Gold Coast, right? So in e-commerce, you have access to the entire world through the internet. And well, let's say there is a lot of competition, but as long as you're doing it bigger, better, and offering more value than every single one of your competitors, then you're going to go far in the game. And that's pretty much what it is. So
so how do you guys? What's your process of like getting traction? How, like, obviously without giving too many of your trade secrets
for
away.
e-com?
Yeah, e-com. Like, what's your difference?
Offer
what's your
value.
Point of difference. Offer value.
Offer the most value. You know what I mean?
How do you shout from the clouds, from the top of the mountain, and get people to know that you're offering value from your perspective?
Well, you just offer it to them. It's so simple.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
So is it Facebook ads? Is it Instagram ads? Like, how do you get around the algorithm of the shitty new, of Facebook not sharing anything? Like, what is your, as this e-com mentor, what's your perspective on all that kind of stuff? Social media, the new, censorship of the internet.
Yeah, I get it. Lots of people had their like accounts deleted for Instagram, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, a lot of them are doing things that they know they shouldn't be doing. You know what I mean? So as long as you keep it clean, you stick to the guidelines. You know what I mean? Like, that's my main tip: is don't try to stand out.
Don't
in
rock
a bad
the boat
way.
too much.
You know what I mean? Like, stand out in a positive way. Help people. You know what I mean? Like, the more people you help, like the further your business is going to progress. And yeah, pretty much, like, you're just looking for new points of value. You look at your competition, you know what I mean? So, like, if you're starting a brand in the clothing niche, for example, you look at the biggest clothing, like, competitors that there are, you know what I mean? So, the biggest clothing stores, and you look exactly at their process.
So, basically, reverse engineering is a very big
100%. But then you think, so you reverse engineer it, and then you look at it and you say, all right, what can I do a little bit better? You know what I mean? And for me,
how do I add more value to what they're already doing?
Well, what I found was that, like, you know what I mean, some big clothing stores in Australia, I won't name any, but like women's clothing, for example.
Iconic.
You know what I mean? Lots of them. You just go to the store, you purchase. You know what I mean? That if you're like a small time person, so like you're not big on social media, you're not an influencer, something like that. You're just an everyday person. You know what I mean? Like you promote this brand, you buy from them, you might share it on your Instagram, you might share it on your Facebook, but at the end of the day, does that brand even show you any attention whatsoever? The answer is majority of the time,
really.
no. You know what I mean? They leave you out of all the big events because they just want the influencers to keep showing off their brand. You know what I mean? I started paying attention to the
Individual
everyday person, bro. The everyday person, the people that, you know what I mean? The ones that probably need uplifting more than the influence. Let's face it, influencers are getting messages all day, every day from people saying how great they are. But the everyday person, you know what I mean? They're going through struggles in their life. They're going through, you know what I mean? They're still relevant.
Totally,
to
we're all
clothing,
going
bro.
through struggles.
Everyone
the
goes through
billionaire
struggles.
or the influencer.
Doesn't matter how rich you
Don't
are.
get
you
it.
know what I mean?
Don't get it twisted. No one wakes up every day happy.
But I must say that, you know what I mean? The everyday person has way more struggles than the influencer. Has way more struggles than the billionaire or the.
I think.
You know what I mean?
I think struggle. Personally, I think struggle is all relevant to what you know. I think I don't know if we have. I don't know. Again, maybe I.
What do you mean by that?
Well, if I wake up and I've got to, I've got to do 20 things. My goal is to get food. That's the only goal that I know that's relevant to me.
Now imagine this. Now imagine if you couldn't afford food.
Well, yeah, I've been in situations where I've maxed out my credit card.
That was the first 17 years of my life, bro.
Yeah.
You know
so
what I mean?
So maybe, again, I'm like, this is why we have these podcasts, is for these conversations.
100%.
And I want to know why you think the way that you think. And without the gritty bullshit of the fluff. The fluff is the fluff.
No,
I'm interested in
here, bro.
I'm interested in your opinions on things.
Yeah, 100%.
That's why I got you in the studio. So tell me what you really think. Like what?
Yeah. Well, I've been through enough, bro. You know what I mean? Like enough in my life. I was definitely not given a silver spoon. I've had enough, you know what I mean, struggle through my life. Like, we won't go into it because a lot of it, you know what I mean? Like, some stuff you'll never tell to anyone, you know what I mean? But the fact being, I don't look at the past, I look into the future. And I guess, that's why I'm so generous, you know what I mean? My friends, people around me, they know how generous I am. Like, you know what I mean? I try to literally give more than I take every situation possible. You know what I'm saying?
So that's basically your manifesto, is give more than you take.
Yeah.
Within reason.
Potentially. But I must say I enjoy it, man, because me struggling, I personally see it as you know what I mean? Obviously it's capitalist, the game is rigged for those who are,
totally.
You know what I mean? But the end of the day, a lot of, when I moved to Australia, for example, one thing I would have loved is for a mentor to come out on a silver platter and say, this is what you do to become successful. You know what I mean? But I look for that, and there was just not that. And if there was, you know what I mean?
And that's what your course presents to someone, is they can come in.
It's for the everyday person.
Learn the tricks of the trade, and potentially, if they apply themselves, there's a high likelihood that they're going to succeed in what they want to do.
Every single person that follows the course to the end succeeds, because I offer value every single day. I spend hours with my students every single day just answering questions. My time's pretty valuable. I could charge it out ridiculous rates, but for me, I'm not about that extra fee bullshit. You come to me for help, you pay my fee for my time, you know what I mean, and what I've put together. And from then on, you're part of the crew, bro. You know what I mean? I see you as a friend. It's not about business, you know what I mean? A lot of people say don't make friends in business. I'm the opposite. You know what I mean? I become friends with every single person that I get into business with, because, you know what I mean? I want to help them. It's as simple as that. I want to see them succeed. And if I'm just keeping them at a distance, there's other e-com gurus out there, and honestly, they're a lot of them have lost my respect from the instant, because I get a lot of people that message me and they say, hey, I was so turned off from e-com from this guy, and you know what I mean? I started answering too many questions. This guy blocked me and shit like that. And I'm just what the fuck? You know what I mean? Because what kind of guy is just out for himself? You know what I mean? If you want to be a mentor, you almost got to put your students above yourself.
Are we throwing Ty Lopez under the bus here?
No, I don't mind Ty Lopez. He's alright. He's full of fluff, but he's a good guy, and he's more of the first entrepreneur you learn from.
What about Gary V?
I think he's alright too. Yeah, honestly, they send a good message. If that makes sense.
No. I think Gary V. I have a few friends that have worked pretty closely with him, and they say he's a pretty good dude, and he says he's got a really good heart, and he's legit a pretty, he means what he says.
He's someone I can imagine would go above and beyond for people.
I think his Eastern European father taught him not to have much fun in life. I think working 17 hours a day is really not what we're here for. But that's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
I like surfing. I like skiing. I like scaring myself. I like driving, fast cars, and I like also helping people. I think I get more joy out of that than making money. 100%. I do like money because money is the fuel for that kind of engine, and I think that this is just my personal take on it. Having, when I was a kid, I grew up in probably the most exclusive ski resort in probably the whole world for many, many years. I used to see Princess Diana and Seal and Heidi Klum, and my dad's best friend used to be Richard Branson's financial advisor. And, Yada,
Yeah,
yada,
well,
yada, right?
yeah.
So life of privilege within reason, like I didn't...
You've always had a good network.
Well, I've always had a good network because of my parents, and I would meet these people, but my parents had quite a lot of money, but they never ended up buying a place in Verbier because they couldn't afford it. But then I had friends that would, for their 18th birthday, they'd be like, oh, Daddy bought me this 2-bedroom apartment, and I wish he'd bought me a 3-bedroom apartment. like I grew up with all these kids that went to the Stad school in Lausanne with all the oil billionaires and
Yeah, wow.
So it's a different life. It's a totally different life, right? What do rich people do? They go skiing, they go sailing, and they play polo. So it's the clique. It's like you guys hang out in the clique in ecom, all the little Illuminati kids, which is like very elite, and then all the hangers on around them. They go to the Hamptons, they go to Monaco, they go to Verbier, they maybe go to Aspen, maybe go to Sun Valley, and St. Bart's. There's little cliques that they all hang in their little cliques, and that's why Trump has got so much tenacity, because he was never a part of the Hamptons clique. He was never a Rockefeller or a Vanderbilt like our man Anderson Silva. Is it not Anderson? What's his name? Is it Anderson Silva? The guy who's the fucking head presenter for CNN. Throw that lefty into the sun. Send him in a rocket. Hillary and him. Anyways, that's no. We're not on that subject. But so you've come from this struggle, and you've offered people. So we aren't. Give us a little feedback. You've known your homie here for a while. Give us some real feedback. What does he offer? What kind of human is he?
So
give us some stories.
It was pretty interesting because I knew him before he had anything. Probably you can argue anything is relative, but
it's all relative.
Yeah, it's all relative. I mean, if you're in Australia, you're already
how you treat people that you don't need to be nice to is how you should judge people.
Yeah,
no matter who the fuck they are, whether they're royalty or Saudi billionaires or fucking A-list movie stars or big athletes, how you treat people that don't need to be nice to you is what they really are like as human beings behind closed doors, without the cameras flashing and Instagram and all that fucking social media bullshit.
Yeah, no, the big problem with Instagram is you always put your best foot forward.
Oh, fucking oath. I'm not going to show my hairy ass on Instagram.
Yeah.
Maybe. It can be arranged.
Only ass.com. But
tailpipe.com.
Yeah, no, Instagram is a bit of an irony because, everyone just shows their best foot forward, and often the people who always just show the party side, they're normally the people who work the hardest, and they'll just show that side of their life because no one wants to see you just sitting on a laptop all day.
Yeah, totally.
Which is pretty ironic. But to get back to your point, so I know Pele before he got all the money and the e-com success, and I think we met at Reese's, and I think about in the next 2 or 3 months he sort of had his break. He started.
You met him kind of at a critical time in his transition to coming
to
success, as we call it.
There's actually another funny story that led up to that, but. Yeah, so we met and he was doing the iPhone cases. And he was doing really well with the iPhone cases.
It's a great idea. I have another friend who thought of that, and I thought that was quite a genius thing. Yeah, we always smash iPhones.
Yeah, it's so ironic. Like these people in the mall, they pay $3,000 a month for the stand to repair iPhone cases, and you can just hit up people on Facebook, and you don't have to pay rent. You sit at home and do it. Exact same thing. Yeah, exactly.
Yep. But you're eliminating the middleman. But that's an insight into his brain, though. So I'm curious. So keep going. Tell me about the real without the sales pitch. I'm curious from your perspective.
Yeah. So there's actually a funny story. So, we hired a plane to go fly to Moreton Island, and we worked out hiring a plane and flying it ourselves to Moreton, and then staying there, and then flying back is going to be cheaper than driving, because if you take a car to Moreton, you pay hectic fees, two cars.
It's about 200 each way, isn't it? 185 or something each way.
Yeah. No, I think it's even more, and then you have to, the pass and everything. But I think it worked out $200 per person flying the plane there, staying there, and flying back, and then of course food, but just to stay there. But yeah, I remember we went hiking the first and second days. And that's sort of when Pele got his, I think it's sort of where your subconscious changed to like I'm
It's
gonna
very
fucking
interesting.
make it now.
Fuck yeah, and that's
Like-
a very critical moment where you're like,
yeah, I remember
you see
we
the
were
light at
sitting
the
in
end of the tunnel.
Sitting on the sand
After all that
dunes.
hustle,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, we're sitting
It's
on
a
the sand
fucking hard to
dunes.
keep going, man. People don't understand how hard it is to be in the doldrums, and you're like, fuck, the world hates me. Why do I keep doing what I'm doing? And everyone's like, you're a fucking idiot, blah, blah, blah. And then, there's always hate, especially in Australian culture. The tall poppy syndrome is so fucking prevalent. Everyone's hating. And then to have that fucking moment of clarity where you like finally see the light, it's like being blessed by Emotep and fucking Ra, and you're like, you are now the pharaoh.
I think like the people on the trip, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the
so-
only person I knew was sorry, bro, but the only person I knew there was Vian, and you know what I mean. But we were like we were with 4 other guys, and they were doing crazy shit, like mind blowing shit. You know what I mean? Like one of our guys, Paul, a good friend of ours still, but he's like one of the founders.
Yeah, he's
Canva.
like head of product at Canva, so he was like,
I was already using that software, you know what I mean, before I met him, and pretty much he like told me he was like the head of product, owns a ton of shares and shit, but and it just blew my mind a little bit, you know what I mean, and there was just people on that trip that
But it
were
also
doing
shows
crazy
you, hanging
things
out with
and-
people like that, it just shows you that there is no limits to what you can do. So society teaches you that there is a very limited base of like, get a 9-to-5 job, do this, do that, have a kids, send them to a private school, then they'll go to uni and blah blah blah, and then continue that fucking conveyor belt of basically product of you're a worker drone for my corporation. And in 1893, Andrew Carnegie and J.D. Rockefeller basically set up the Education Board of America. Might be 2 or 3 years different than that. And they basically created the US system of schooling to basically create worker drones
100%.
post-industrial revolution.
What has changed since?
What has changed
terms
since
of
is
schooling.
that
Same
basically
education
you have the
In terms
power
of the
now.
education system,
This
you
is
don't.
the power, bro. This is
I get
10,000
that.
years of knowledge.
But bro, I get that. But at the same time, like you have a math problem in like maths or something like that. That like they say, all right, you're not allowed to use a calculator. You're not allowed to research. You're sitting there trying to remember everything from your brain that
That's
you
so
learned from a
stupid.
teacher that is paid
what's the
minimum
point of it?
wage. Yeah, I mean the teacher's
No,
paid
no,
minimum
totally,
wage to teach you
100%.
something. You know what I mean? To teach a maths school of maths class of 30 people at a time. You know what I mean? Like you're not gonna
be a
get
slave to the
information
system.
that way. It is to build workers.
So
100%.
continue your story. Tell me this.
Just a
I'm
quick
really
caveat.
interested.
Just a quick caveat. Like I posted on my story 2 days ago. Like, there's no point knowing anything you can Google. Like, if you think about in school, like what percentage of the stuff you learn you can just Google.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that, but that's another topic that we'll discuss in private. There's that knowledge. There's a difference between knowledge and wisdom.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and
100%,
wisdom is learnt through
Action.
trial and error
Yep.
and action. So
Yeah, exactly.
you can have knowledge, but wisdom is a totally different
But knowing
cup of tea.
knowing the date of World War One, it's not going to help you, and you have to
Well, it
learn that.
depends on what you do. If you're a historian that works at Harvard and you're an educator on modern history, then yes, it will be relevant to you. If you're a lawyer or a doctor, or you want to become a mechanical engineer that's going to design bridges that we're going to drive over, then yes, the education system is very relevant to the trade that you're going to do. But if you want to be an entrepreneur and you want to act and make money out of services or providing a product, then the world is a totally different place. So it depends on it's different strokes for different folks. So
there's definitely always a caveat.
the system is set up to create worker drones for the corporations. But to go back 2 frames, continue your story about him sitting on a sand dune.
Yeah, so we're chilling on this island. I think it's the first or second day. We'll go hiking, and I was sitting on the dunes with Pele, and I think it was probably about 2 or 3 days after that it was the big break, if I remember correctly.
It was a couple months, bro.
Oh,
I got into a new gig after that. Do you remember? I just got fired from my job at LJ Hooker.
Oh,
Oh, you
true.
got fired. Oh,
While we're on the trip,
the
bro.
heat, the
Yeah.
heat,
Bro.
This
But-
is the heat that we want to hear. Why'd you get fired? Did you
Because-
fuck the owner's daughter? That's what probably I would have got fired for, personally.
I honestly had
But you're not me.
honestly, like he took the system I created and realized he didn't have to pay me anymore. You know what I mean? And that was that. You know what I mean?
No,
Pele
you became
out-automated
obsolete
his
for
job.
his. You became obsolete for his hustle. But that also is a part of giving with no thought of return. That can have.
But the
that
fact
can,
being, if you don't have anything, you know what I mean, and then your boss,
Totally.
you just literally like got him a deal where he made $120,000 from one deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're cool. You know what I mean? I paid $500 from that deal. He just bought himself a brand new Mercedes GLE 63 from that
Yeah.
deal. You know what I mean? And then fired me on my holiday. Fuck that dude.
Yeah, totally fucked that dude.
Straight
But he's not. But if he was a smart man, you know, he thinks hand to mouth. There's not. It's not about you. Got to think bigger than that. If he'd empowered you, he could have made 100 million off you.
Yeah, I get that.
There's a really big.
Look, honestly,
Teach a man to. There's a wise parable in the Bible, and I don't necessarily believe in God, Christ, or anything like that. That says, give a man a fish he eats for a day. Teach him how to fish, he'll feed himself for life. Now, if you can teach that man how to fish and make 10 cents off every fish that he catches, then you've empowered that gentleman to make a lot of money for you.
yeah, I get that. But at the same time, I must say, like, he was that dude that, like, I hired 12 people. He'd come down the stairs, like, to chuck a piss or something, and we'll just walk past everyone with his head down, bro.
Yeah, but he's a cunt.
No, he was. And the fact being, like,
But
you know what I
he
mean?
goes home and he's not happy though. He looks
No.
He
He
looks
didn't
down
think
at his
me
little
a single
penis
thing,
and
man.
he's like, I'm not happy in life. And that comes back to the hole in the bucket factor. That if you're not really happy inside, then you're not going to be that nice to people. And how you should judge people is based off the fact of how you treat people that you don't need to be nice to,
The fact
including
being-
your employees.
At the end of the day, working in a job, you could die next week, yeah?
Totally, and they
Yeah.
don't care. They give you a silver pen. You work
No,
50
no.
years, and then give you
Bro.
they make you redundant, and they give you a fucking silver pen and a watch, and then they go on with your merry way. And that's how the unions work.
No, they'd
for
replace
years.
you in a week. That's what they do. You
Oh
could die, you know what I mean?
Half a day.
They would replace you in, well, yeah, half a day then. But
In the
the fact
modern
being,
world.
like, it like, no one gives
You're
a fuck
just a
about
cog
you.
in the system.
You need to go out and get what you want. It's as simple as that. You know what I mean? So, like, if you want something, don't rely on a boss that's promising you a promotion or a $2 pay rise or, you know what I mean?
No,
Like,
you're
yeah,
a slave. You're still a slave to the system. It's a hand-to-mouth thing. So go back to this situation. I want to know your perspective on, as we finish out on this, because we've been here for an hour now, and we're going to probably go for another 10, 15 minutes. But I'm curious. I want to know I want to get a little background on this changing of the guard moment for this gentleman here,
Yeah, well,
because he's a good dude. I like this guy.
yeah. So I think just according to my perspective, it's probably like I think that sort of it's like a pivotal moment where like I think your mindset, like your unconscious mindset, shifted to like. I think you like made it clear, like fuck this, like I'm not gonna like
Hell
stay
yeah.
in this
I'm not
job.
going to be
like,
a little bitch.
like I'm definitely gonna do my own thing. Like I don't think you've got it. You
You
didn't know
got
how to
thrown into
figure
the
it-
fire though.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why it relates back to what I was talking about before. You get thrown into the fire, you can either like cry and, hey, mummy, I need to go to bed now. Or you can rise to the occasion and go like, fuck that. I'm going to fucking eat all of you. You know what I mean? Like you're obviously that guy. You
Yeah,
rose
100%,
to
bro.
the
You
occasion.
you just gotta go to get what you want. Like I knew from that point on that I had to go out and be my own real estate agent. You know what I mean? So I did go back into real estate. I met some good friends there, high courts, great place, respected the boss this time. Like literally, like we'd be there at 8 p.m. sitting there and like, you know what I mean? No one's in the office. I'd stay like always, you know what I mean? Just to keep up with the shit and obviously learn the process. But we got 2 listings in 2 weeks. Me and
No,
my
you
business
probably got
partner,
more money
Elijah.
than you probably got more money than your old boss.
Maybe, but at the same time, like I met a friend of mine there. You know what I mean? We ended up working together, young guy as well. You know what I mean? And I realized that I click better with the young people because we go into a house and we have so much energy as opposed to these old stiffs that would sit there like, "Hi, I'm from the local real estate." Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
but
we
they're
go
only-
in there and be
they're
like, "Hey,
ingrained
look,
in a system,
we'll
though.
make
It's
you
not
money
their
from your
fault.
property." And the fact being like,
It's
you know
not
what I
their
mean?
fault though. They're ingrained in a system. They were
I get that, but
trained
anyone
that
can
way.
change. Like, no excuses. Yeah,
I agree with that, but you have to understand that if you beat an old horse for fucking 20, 30 years, they're complacent. They only know what they know. So I understand now it's a little bit fucking different, but back in their day it was you had to, not necessarily because I've grown up in a family of pirates that didn't toe the line, but that was ingrained because my grandfather was a famous inventor, and then he taught my father, and like on both sides of my family, my lineage were basically very highfalutin pirates. Do you know, like, so I'm a pirate too. So I only know what I know. And it's like one of my old friends that I used to run the biggest independent men's magazine in Australia. It's called Apollo, right? With two of my other friends. One of my friends is a doctor now. He's probably worth maybe 60 to 80 million bucks now. And he's probably 43, 44. Clear cash, right? Made 2 or 3 really big movies, yada, yada, yada. When I first met him, right, we met each other through the Neil Strauss pickup forum from the game, okay? And I met this dude, and I met 2 other people. I ended up going to the Playboy Mansion with him twice. Okay, I went to the Playboy Mansion, and we went to the Venetian Masquerade Ball, and we had fucking these fake masks of Hugh Hefner, and I had a badge that said "A dingo stole my baby." We ended up hanging out with Mini-Me and had these fucking, because one of my ex-girlfriends is a famous porn star. Yada 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 yada. Anyways, he told me one day we had this conversation. He's like, Will, why are you an entrepreneur? Why are you doing this and this and what do you aspire to do? This is still when I was a pro skier, right? So all I wanted to do when I was a kid was be a pro skier, right? So I got taught certain things to do what I did, right? I don't know what your father did or your mum, but I did what my parents taught me to do, right? And he's a doctor, highfalutin, he's a radiologist, yada yada yada. I'm not going to drop names because it will ruin the blah blah blah. But he told me his dad was a GP. His grandfather was a GP. He became a doctor because that was what he was trained in. So a lot of people don't have either the experience or and I think it's an old guard thing. I think definitely in the older generations, the internet is definitely given us access to a lot of information that we wouldn't have had 2 generations ago. Do you know what I mean? Like to that light bulb moment that you had. So before,
I agree with that. Yeah,
before you might have only had light bulb moments when you interacted with different people that might have been like, yes, I'm show and show person. You know, like when I've always had swagger because all my dad's friends were fucking really highfalutin people. It's all I know is hustle, and if you hustle well and you succeed, then you get the world. And that's what I've grown up with since I was a kid, right? Because it's in my DNA to be very, like, successful, right? You know, there's a fucking shrine. There's, like, a big memorial to my grandfather in Aruba in the Dutch East Antilles because they flew the first transatlantic mail flight in, like, 1942 before World War II started, right?
Yeah, wow.
So that's awesome. What I you know, it's in your family DNA. But obviously this is... You haven't had that in your family DNA. I don't know if that's true or not. But what was it that triggered you, other than this moment, that inspired you to do that and not be a cunt like your fucking boss? I know I'm putting you on the bitch right now and putting you on the spot, but that's what the podcast is for.
Not at all. Like honestly, like,
and I'm 4 Canadian clubs down, so that the more intense I get is the more drinks I have.
All right. Yeah. Like honestly, like ever since I was young, I was like, I've seen struggle from literally a young age. So, like, I always knew that if I want to be someone, then it was down to me. It's as simple as that. So, like, I put in the work. I use, like, we're in the best time of the world. I reckon. Like, now is the time of the entrepreneur. Like, this little, like, I have friends that are like 18 years old. They're earning like $20,000 a day. It's insane. You know what I mean? So the fact being, like, no matter who you are, no matter where you come from, there's no excuse as to why you can't be whatever the fuck you want to be. You know what I mean? So, like, all I'd say to the people that are young, listen to this, even if you're old, you know what I mean? Like, I trained someone that's, I think he's like 55 years old, and he followed my system to a T and, like, started making money, made an extra income stream from his laptop, 50 years old. So, like, I don't agree with the term that you can't teach an old dog new tricks, because you definitely can. You know what I mean? No matter who you are, you can definitely get back into the grind. You know what I mean? And start living a life that you actually want.
You got to change their mindset though at the same time.
It all starts with mindset, my man. So, like, literally, like, learning like, you get yourself in a learning mindset. Even now, you know what I mean? Even now, like, fair enough, I mentor lots of people, but I'm so in tune with everyone else, and I'm literally picking new things up, new points of value from people that I'm teaching. And honestly, there's nothing better than when the mentor becomes the student. And I guess part of it is just understanding that
is that
you
your little
don't-
homie Lester teaching you what's up?
Yeah, Lester's he's an awesome dude. I met him a few times, but like we had an awesome trip the other week. But I'm not talking about Lester. I didn't teach Lester. But I've taught lots and lots of people, you know what I mean, that still send through points of value to me. Like, they ask me questions like, "Hey,
It's
like,
an
have you tried
interaction
this?"
of value, which is very important.
And I'm like, "No, I haven't tried that, but it's a fucking awesome idea, bro." You know what I mean? And yeah, like that, and then like they might action it, and I'll action it. You know what I mean? But it's all about getting into that learning mindset. So like the moment you start learning and you accept that you don't know everything and there's still more to learn that can benefit you, you know what I mean? That's when you're really going to take off, because you're just going to be sucking content and like sucking points of value and putting it into your work, and that's what's really going to get you, like, help you get ahead, especially in e-com, which is a game that is completely different to when I started 3 years ago. You know what I mean? The system.
The world's system's always evolving.
E-com is like one of the
Totally
quickest changing systems. You know what I mean?
System. Social media's changed everything. The algorithm changed on Facebook. The
Yeah,
algorithm
exactly
changed
right.
on Instagram.
Exactly right. We
The
are.
distribution, TikTok.
We have to adapt, and that's what it is. You know what I mean?
adapt or die.
100%. And like part of what I do is always looking for new ways to redevelop what we've already got and make it more efficient. And yeah, like all of this in my course, guys. So yeah, every single day looking for new
Ecom
points of value.
mindset. Check it out.
The
Pele
Ecom
Francis.
Mastermind.
Follow him on Instagram. So we're gonna finish this up. I got places to be, women to do, places to ski. So okay. So from both of your perspectives, I'm a newcomer to ecom.
Okay.
Not me personally, but potentially I might do your course after this podcast. We'll see. But as if I was a newcomer,
Okay.
what would be? And I've got a 9 to 5 shitty job. I don't like it.
Yep.
Got a nagging wife at home. I want the freedom to be able to do what I want, as you are, as he is. What are the first steps that I need to do in order to be able to get this financial freedom?
Oh, it's easy, man. Take action. It's as simple as that. You know what I mean? Find a mentor, myself, like if you want to do ecom, that is. You know what I mean? Find someone that's skilled at what you do and is willing to train you. And like obviously do your research on them. There's lots of like fakes out there that claim that they're mentors and yet just have like a fake rip-off brand of like a watch company or something. You know what I mean? And like necessarily aren't actually making money from ecom. There's lots of them. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you know what I mean? Do your research. Make sure that they're 100%. And then look what other people are saying about them. You know what I mean? Because I must say, like, I've never had a student on my course. One, I've never had anyone ask for a refund. I've never had anyone say, "Hey, I didn't learn anything. Hey, I didn't," you know what I mean? Like, every single person on my course has said to me that, "Hey, I've learnt incredible value. I've learnt mindset skills, and I've learnt things that's really changed me as a person," and that's what it's all about. You know what I mean? It's about learning that mindset and getting into that growth mindset of like knowing that, you know what I mean, you don't know everything, but you need to be willing to learn it. It's as simple as that. So like, yeah, once you start learning, you take away the L and no more L's, and then you start to earn. And that's that, Willy.
And what about from your what? Give us some insight on this homie here that you got. This your big homie just teaching you how to make money and how to succeed in life. Obviously, you got your own strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
We're here. We're talking about the man Pele.
Yeah, so I think like the quickest way to quit your 9 to 5 is a few steps. One, cut all of your friends that has a 9 to 5.
Ooh,
Replace them.
That's a deep one.
It's a deep one, but
your blue pill friends, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
the
the
ones
blue
that are keeping
pill.
you down.
Yeah,
You need
yeah,
ones
yeah,
that
yeah.
are helping you up. Sorry,
it's
bro,
like
you
if you hang out with 5
Blue
people,
pill is the blue pill relevant to ecom now? Is it?
No, the blue
Not
pill is
just the
relevant to
PUA
life,
world.
man. If the people that are holding you down in life, the ones that aren't progressing, the ones that are still complaining, you know what I mean? They're the ones, like, I know it's hard, you know what I mean? But you got to cut them because they're only going to, like, one,
Only
keep
gonna
your
hinder
mindset
you.
down. You know what I mean? But two, there's people out there that
What
will
if that's your
really
family?
blow your mind. Well, family is a tough one, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, you don't want to cut them, but you definitely don't have to You know what I mean? You definitely don't have to take after them, if that makes sense. Like, take their advice. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, you know what I mean? Your family, they're your family. You love them. But at the same time, don't, you know what I mean? You don't have to, you have to follow their advice. You know what I mean? Do your own thing. Follow someone that's actually done it. It's as simple as that. You know what I mean? The first step I ask, if someone tells me about, you know what I mean? Like, you should do this, you should do that. I say to them, well, have you done it? You know what I mean? If they haven't, then why the fuck would you listen to
Okay,
them?
so just to finish it up, where can we find you on the internet?
At Pele_Vuitton. Let's go.
And what about like website?
Oh, yeah. PeleFrancis.com/ecom CEO.
And Wian, give us the IG shout outs.
Vian Botha, WIANBOTHA.
South Africa.
No one can
Represent.
spell my name, but
Yo, so
Same, bro.
Willys World podcast, dopest dope you ever gonna smoke. We're signing out. Ecom life. If you want to get busy, not have to work the 9 to 5 slavery that they conditioned you to be in. Remember, those Rockefeller people, they put you in that place. Take action. Go onto his website. Check out his course.
2021.
We're winning.
Ecom
2021.
boxing.
Fuck 2020.
Ecom boxing
We're taking over the
exhibition. Someone
world.
fight me.
Booyah!